Who gives a gift like that who wants more than a piece of her heart, eh?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 comedy movie scenes that got censored.
Nobody's getting hurt.
For this list, we'll be looking at scenes deemed too explicit, graphic, or inappropriate for audiences that resulted in these flicks getting banned or heavily realtered. Know a scrapped scene that we didn't mention? Tell us about it in the comments below. We won't keep you censored. Number 10. Bobby's Cigarette, The Muppets Christmas Carol. Bobby Benson is a Muppet well known for wearing sunglasses and having a cigarette that rarely seems to vanish from his lips. So it became pretty surprising when the classic cigarette was digitally removed from The Muppets Christmas Carol on Disney+.
Singing of a street corner choir, it's going home and getting warm by the fire. It's true wherever you find love, it feels like Christmas.
In the new scene, when Bobby leads the Christmas choir, his cigarette is nowhere to be found. The decision was likely made to deter younger viewers from smoking. It's an understandable reason, but still a bit funny to think they went through all that trouble.
You're on your own, folks. We'll meet you at the finale. Yeah.
Especially considering Benson was only there for a few seconds of screen time. Number 9. CGI Hair, Splash. In this 80s rom-com, Tom Hanks' character Alan falls in love with Madison, the mermaid who saved him from drowning when they were kids. Right now, you can watch the movie on Disney+, and if you do, you'll notice some extra inches of hair added to Madison in one of the movie's scenes. You don't have to be an expert on all things hair to be able to pick up on the clunky CGI.
Hey, come back! Hey, come back, please!
It was done in an attempt to conceal Madison's slightly visible rear end. So in that regard, the CGI works, but also at the expense of kind of making it look like Madison has fur.
What's your number? I don't know how to swim.
Number 8. Zoolander vs. Malaysia. Zoolander. To be honest, we can't really say we blame Malaysia here. The plot of Zoolander was wild.
What?
It followed global supermodel Derek Zoolander, who stumbled into becoming a brainwashed sleeper agent whose mission was to assassinate Malaysia's prime minister. It's a hilarious movie, but naturally, Malaysia had some concerns about it.
Prime Minister of Malaysia, bad! Martial arts, good!
They, along with Singapore, banned the movie, with the censorship board declaring it unsuitable. Zoolander did manage to get released throughout the rest of Asia, but all mentions of Malaysia were switched out with Micronesia. Derek probably won't be walking down the runway for Fashion Week in Kuala Lumpur anytime soon.
Thank you, Derek Zoolander, for saving my life.
Pag hipeya dan yafashun, kami mengucapkan sama-sama bertemu Menteri.
Number 7. The Adult Phone Number. The Santa Claus. In The Santa Claus, Scott Calvin accidentally causes Santa's demise.
You killed him.
Did not.
As a result, it becomes his responsibility to take on the mantle of Jolly St. Nick. We're not quite sure just how legally binding this clause is, but nevertheless, the movie's a fun hour and a half.
Fabulous. What happens if I fall off the roof?
This family-friendly Christmas movie unexpectedly turns explicit at one point, though. It happens when Scott makes a joke about a risque phone line.
Here's Neil's mom's number in case.
1-800-SPANK-ME. I know that number.
And a Merry Christmas to you too.
The problems really started when kids began calling this number, which happened to be real. It caused a lot of uproar back in the 90s, resulting in the joke being removed from future versions, including Disney+. It looks like Santa's on the naughty list for this one.
I got a lot of work to do.
Number 6. Peggys Death, The Mask. The Mask is about Stanley Ipkiss, an average Joe who finds a mysterious and magical mask belonging to Loki. No, not the Marvel one. It leads to a very wild transformation.
Spoken!
And in the movie, viewers also meet reporter Peggy Brandt, but we don't see her for very long.
I just want to ask you a few questions.
Really? About what?
Her sudden absence isn't explained in the theatrical cut, thanks to a deleted scene. In the cut scene, Peggy is killed by Dorian Tyrell by getting thrown into a printing press, which then leads to headlines announcing her mysterious passing. It was considered a bit too excessive for the younger audiences watching, hence why it was removed. But without the context, Peggy's absence in the rest of the movie feels bizarre.
I won't make trouble for you. I just want the truth.
God, I wish I knew the truth. You know, I really do. No.
Number 5. The Throne Rock, The Emperor's New Groove. This is another one of those times where we really feel like the censoring wasn't so necessary. In The Emperor's New Groove, self-absorbed Incan Emperor Cusco gets turned into a llama.
What? A llama? He's supposed to be dead!
Yeah, weird.
At some point amidst all the chaos and frustration, Cusco throws a rock at Pacha, the kind old villager who's reluctantly helping him. The rock was pretty small, it definitely didn't hurt Pacha, and the entire scene was clearly meant to be comedic.
Somebody's throwing stuff.
But it was still considered too violent by the censors, resulting in a newer version of the scene which you can find on Disney+, where instead of a rock, it's an acorn. Number 4. Hands off. Deadpool. Deadpool is probably a censor board's worst nightmare. It's got just about every crude joke, brutal death, and F-bomb under the sun.
You really gonna f this up for me?
And sure enough, the Indian censor board had a real problem, or problems, with Wade Wilson. They censored a ton of moments from the movie, including the entire sequence where Wade cuts his hand off to escape from Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
You ever see 127 Hours? Spoiler alert.
The censored version instead pans onto Colossus's face. Honestly, if you're going to censor so much from a movie, should you even bother showing any of it?
I'm gonna do what I came here to do. Either that, or slap the bitch out of you.
Number 3. Jessica gets covered up. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? In a split second, everything can change. In this classic, Eddie Valiant is a PI who has to help clear Roger Rabbit's name.
Making a big mistake! I didn't kill anybody! I swear! This whole thing's a setup! A scam! A frame job!
The partially animated, partially live-action movie would not be the same without Roger's wife, the iconic Jessica Rabbit. And when the movie went onto Laserdisc, fans were able to pick it apart frame by frame. That's sort of the problem. At one point, Jessica is flung into the air from a car crash.
I'm in this!
The slowed down scene reveals a frame where the bottom of her red dress has, well, moved slightly out of focus, revealing her lower half. Enough fans seemed to pick up on the split-second wardrobe malfunction, and in later versions, the scene was re-altered to have the dress cover everything. Number 2. Bart and Lily in the Dark. Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles followed Bart, the first African-American to become sheriff of Rock Ridge, but the all-white town didn't exactly welcome him with open arms initially.
By the power vested in me, by the Honorable William J. LaPetitmain.
The movie was the ultimate Western satire. It didn't really take itself too seriously, and actively dunked on racists. There's only one joke which Mel Brooks considered too much, in the scene where Bart visited Lily von Stupp.
Won't you excuse me for a moment while I slip into something a little bit more comfortable?
Bitter, baby.
Lily, unsuccessfully, tried to flirt with Bart, but originally, she also would have asked him a rather inappropriate question, to which Bart would respond with a joke. Brooks told Conan O'Brien that he got scared when he saw the explicit line. He then revealed what it was to the talk show host.
And Cleavon says, I hate to disillusion you, man, but you're sucking on my arm.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Innuendos at Dinner. Mrs. Doubtfire. Frustrated by being unable to visit his children, newly unemployed voice actor Daniel Hiller disguises himself as their new nanny, Mrs. Doubtfire.
And these must be the cherubs.
The title character, of course, is played by the late great Robin Williams. And while it's overall pretty PG, the UK had some problems with some mature dialogue. When Daniel, disguised as Mrs. Doubtfire, is alone with Stu, his ex-wife's new boyfriend, he brings up a list of funny yet slightly inappropriate innuendos.
Hide the weasel, park the porpoise, bit of the old Humpty Dumpty, little Jack Horny, the horizontal mumbo.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
It's a hilarious list, but well, we'll just leave it at that. The UK gave it a 12 certificate, meaning kids under 12 couldn't see it. To get that lifted, the movie was re-released with the raunchy dialogue removed.
Sorry, oh, forgive me.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.